thanks for hopping in and coming down the road with us. Today, we're going to get a chance to visit with Jay Young. Now, Jay is a fourth generation oil and gas professional. He is part of a leadership team with over 100 years of combined oil and gas exploration development. So, we're going to get a chance to talk about what Hurricane Ida has meant to his industry. We're going to get a chance to talk about what this might mean for gas prices and how it affects us up here. You know, we have our own coal country. I mean, we do. We have something that we deal with on a daily basis, which is the price of crude. And so we'll get a chance to visit about that as well. Also, today, let me just give you a window into some of what I want to talk about and some of what I want to bring to you. I have seen, whether it be on Twitter or Facebook or social media, heck, on the news, I have seen time and time again where you've got angry parents at school board meeting, basically rushing the school board itself from the podium, screaming at them about mask mandates and about how this is still America and they're taking away the freedom of their children. Now, the interesting thing was, and we'll touch on this a little bit later as well, is that one of the individuals who did this in Moorhead has no kids in the school. That's right. They're just using it as an opportunity to go ahead and make their case and be on radio and be on television. And there's a movement in Fargo to recall the very school board members who have pushed the mask mandate. Now, if you want to talk about a difference, well, look at West Fargo to Fargo. You're looking at a situation there where West Fargo has not gone along with what was recommended by CDC and the local health office in Cass County. They made the choice not to wear masks. In Fargo, they're requiring it, albeit on a close vote. By a 6-3 vote, they have decided to have their students, staff, any faculty whatsoever wear masks. That means the janitor, that means the bus driver, that means everything. So, you know, here's the thing to keep in mind, and we'll talk about this later. I'm not confident that I would take advice from anyone in regards to what school boards should do if they themselves have not been vaccinated. I mean, I'm sorry. I wouldn't be sitting there taking all the slings and arrows. So, but now we're going to be joined by Lieutenant Jason J. Redman. I could read his biography all day long. We're talking about a special ops secret mission to rescue 500 Afghans in Kabul. And we're talking about Jason Bourne type stuff. We're talking about a man that's part of a mission, but just to give you a kind of a window, as a special operative in a mission in 2007, Redmond was struck by machine gun fire. That's right, representing us, serving this country. He was struck by machine gun fire. First hit him in the left elbow, then hit him in the right side of his face, entering his jaw and exiting through his nose. Now, we're talking about dozens of surgeries. We're talking about all of that. But here's what I'm building up to. Check him out. Not just as a speaker that maybe he can come to your group, but check him out as an author. Overcome, Crush, Adversity. Now, the leadership techniques of America's toughest warriors. I would argue that Lieutenant Jason Redman is one of the toughest warriors you could meet. Jake, good to have you coming down the road with us.
Joel, thanks for having me on.
I'm not doing my job if I don't, on behalf of everybody that's watching you right now, say thank you. Say thank you for what you did, and thanks for the, paying that price on behalf of all of us.
It's my honor, and obviously there's a lot of veterans out there that did as much or more than I did. I had a great opportunity to work with many of them and serve alongside them. I'm still alive and here because many of them. And I think that's why, and I'm working with many of them right now, obviously, with what we're doing. I think many of us are just passionate and we love this country and we believe that America means something to be a part of this country. There's a narrative that's going on in our nation currently that America's not that great. America was built on, all these false narratives that are out there. And, they want to look at something. America right now, we're a young nation and we've done a lot. The glass is half full. And there are a lot of people that don't look at it that way. They want to look at it as a glass is half empty, and they want to try and create this negative outcome. But where I came from, as I grew up, it meant something to be an American. And, we honored our word as Americans, and we helped those who have helped us as Americans. And I got to tell you, the greatest mission that I ever flew on that did not come to pass, but the greatest feeling of pride I ever had was I was going in on a potential hostage rescue mission for two American service members who had been captured behind the lines in Iraq. And the intel didn't turn out to be good. They were not there. But I remember flying in on that mission, jocked up, ready to go, ready to lay down my life for my fellow American service members, and thinking to myself, this is what it means to be an American, that we take care of our own, that we will do anything in our power to take care of Americans. And right now, watching what's happening in Afghanistan, we just feel like it's un-American. The members of Task Force Pineapple, with what we're doing, not only just for the American citizens that are still left behind, but the thousands of Afghans who fought alongside us, and many of which, in my opinion, are more American than, some of the American citizens that live in our own country.
I think a lot of people agree with you. In fact, no doubt the majority of people agree with you. How do you fix it? How do you, we can talk about how we got there, which I'm sure will be part of our conversation. But seeing what we see now, knowing that that last soldier has left Afghanistan, how do you fix what we left behind in terms of the very people we still need to get out of there?
It is a mess, and I'll be honest, and there's a reason we're not here to point fingers. This isn't left and right. There'll be a time for that, and obviously I have my own opinions on that. But, just like I learned in the military, and even I learned on the battlefield, whether it's in combat, whether it's in peacetime, there's always going to be differing opinions, and we have to bring people together to accomplish the outcome. You always have to be focused on the outcome. Our outcome right now is no man left behind. We have thousands upon thousands of Afghan allies, individuals who work side by side with us, who are stuck behind enemy lines. And in order to get them out, we really need the support of the U.S. government. We need the State Department to be involved. And although they're saying they're involved, we are really struggling to make this happen. All of this needs to happen fast. Task Force Pineapple, if you're looking to support, go to operationrecovery.org. But we are focused on how do we move these people out, by leveraging all our different connections. If you're listening to this interview, reach out to your congressman, reach out to your leaders and say, this is un-American. Like, we need to lean on the government. We need to lean on the State Department to clear the path. The Taliban is saying that, they want to be recognized as a government organization. The thing we kind of feel like, not even we feel like, we know they're talking out of one side of their mouth and doing the other. So let us government and other governments lean on them. Hey, you want to be a legitimate government? Let these people out. We already gave them our word that they could get out. We have the paperwork. They have special immigrant visas. Show us that you're a legitimate government and let these people out. We'll fly planes. We'll get them out. Whatever that is, or let them cross the borders into these other nations. That's what we need to work with. But that takes governmental support. It is not something we're doing the best we can with the resources we have. But at the end of the day, this is a government to government endeavor. And that's where we need help. So that's where American citizens can truly step in and pressure their political leaders and say, hey, as Americans, this is what we should do.
Lieutenant Redmond, looking back and taking that step back at how we can learn and not make some of the same mistakes that we've all seen unfold right now, in terms of being able to get people out at a time like this, should deadlines be set? We can look at both administrations. As you mentioned, we can look at conservative, liberal, we can look at Democrat, Republican. But some of the way that this has been handled, and in my opinion, mishandled, has been pretty bipartisan. Should we be setting deadlines and making sure that at this point we're going to pull the pin before, for example, people like you are allowed to do your mission?
No, I personally don't think that we should ever reveal our hand. Now, I do think that the drawdown needed to happen. I mean, we cannot stay in wars forever. And especially if we don't have a very clearly defined outcome on what we're trying to accomplish. And in my opinion, we had achieved that outcome. We had helped the Afghani people set up a government. We had trained some of their military. Now, I will say they were a fledgling infant government. and they needed the support of the U.S. government, both on the political and both on the military level. And we had trained them. You know, there was a lot of people, I have individuals I listen to out there that say, oh my gosh, you know, the Afghan government just threw, or the Afghan, both the Afghan government and the Afghan military just threw down their weapons and left. They also had been trained with the support of us. They had been trained as a first world military. As a first world military, we have tremendous technology. We had tremendous capabilities, air assets. Who controls the air controls the battlefield. And when we left, all that was gone. So they were overwhelmed, you know, by a force, the Taliban, who had coordinated and staged in other locations and had a very well executed plan to push through Afghanistan to take it over. So I don't totally fault the Afghan army. I would have loved to see them step up and fight a little harder, but at the same time, I don't feel like we trained them and gave them the resources we needed. We should have stayed there in a very drawn down capacity, in my opinion.
So looking at that, you know, taking a look at how we were in a position where we really couldn't get people out, where we had, you know, sitting in Kabul, the airport looking as big of a mess as what it was. Do you think we would have been able to change that narrative had we had more troops, had we had more soldiers there, had we had the support group that many are saying we needed?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the small footprint we had in the I believe what I read was 18 months leading up to this abrupt and very discombobulated withdrawal, we had not lost a single U.S. serviceman in those 18 months. Additionally, we had managed, although, you know, there were still attacks, there was still fighting that was going on between the Afghan government and the Taliban, it was relatively reduced. And I think that we could have continued to support them with special operations, with some air assets are over there. Personally, I don't understand why we didn't look at this strategically. We have assets in countries all over the world. I mean, we, you know, after World War II, we still had, you know, we have bases in Japan and Germany and Korea. Why didn't we not just maintain that terrain in Afghanistan? Bagram Air Force Base could have become sovereign U.S. territory for a base, and we would have been able to continue to assist the Afghan government, you know, but pushing them to do it on their own. In addition, it gave us an additional strategic location against China.
So when we come back, aside from the fact, and I don't want to lose this opportunity to talk about the Pineapple Express or the publication that Jay Redmond put out, but when we come back, I just want to talk to him about things that we don't realize about Afghanistan that he had a first-hand view of. So stick around. More coming down the road.
Howdy folks, it's a Line Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our hey-bossing breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at a salad bar, sink your teeth into our famous Line burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spoon-rattling pie with a calm roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
He once won a spelling bee in an ancient language that he did not speak. He is the only man to ever earn extra credit on an IQ exam. His academic degrees are considered legitimate spending currency in 22 nations, 2 principalities, and at Chick-fil-A restaurants in the United States and Western Canada.
I do not always engage with education programming, but when I do, it is the Dr. Duke Show.
Stay educated with the Dr. Duke Show, weekdays at 4 p.m. on Beck News.
Hi, Hunter Ellis here for Night Hero Binoculars by Atomic Beam. These binoculars let you see anything, even in pitch black darkness. Gotcha.
The secrets are powerful wide-angle atomic beam laser that reveals objects up to 150 yards away, hidden by darkness.
During the day, Night Hero gives you 10 times magnification. And when the sun goes down, press the Night Bright button to see clearly in the dark.
Light up garbage-eating critters or spot thieves before they even get close.
Call or click now and get Night Hero binoculars for just $39.99. Order right now and you can double it. Plus, get our best-selling atomic beam flashlight. Just pay a separate fee. We'll even ship them to you free. This TV special offer is not available on Amazon. You can get it all, but you have to order now.
Call 1-800-619-1091. That's 1-800-619-1091. Or visit ByNightHero.com. That's ByNightHero.com. Order now.
Attention! Have you or a loved one suffered from maculopathy, a serious retinal injury, after taking the prescription drug Elmiron for interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome? In 2018, a researcher at the Emory School of Medicine linked Elmiron, a prescription drug that treats interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome, to maculopathy, which is sight-threatening and can cause an abrupt change of vision. Call Elmiron Justice for a free legal consultation.
Please call 800-395-5680.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. This drug remains approved by the FDA. If you or a loved one regularly took Zantac and were later diagnosed with cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Potential cancers include bladder cancer, colon cancer, kidney cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting with your doctor. Discontinuing a prescribed medication without your doctor's advice can result in injury or death.
Call 1-800-230-9210.
Lieutenant Jason J. Redman is our guest. He's the author of Overcome, Crush Adversity, with the leadership techniques of America's toughest warriors. This is a man who paid a huge price for his service to this country, and we're talking about how this ended in terms of over a 20-year war in Afghanistan. And I want to make sure in the beginning of this segment and at the end, so that we remind people again, Operation Recovery, operationrecovery.org. Lieutenant, what is that? Make sure people understand that.
So Task Force Pineapple is not a nonprofit organization. We're not a for-profit organization. We are a group of patriotic Americans who believe, our motto is honor the promise. Our government promised the Afghan people, and not only that, he promised the American citizens. I mean, there's an interview where he said there will be we will not pull out till all American citizens are out of that country. And that's just not true. I mean, we have, anywhere from estimates of 200 to 300 that are still on the ground trying to get out. So we had created the Task Force Pineapple. Lieutenant Colonel Scott Mann, retired Green Beret, was the founder of this. And obviously we recognize that we're moving to the next phase where it's going to take funding, unfortunately, to try and move people, to charter flights, to do whatever we can do to get them out is going to cost money. So we stood up operationrecovery.org. That is a nonprofit. It is run by another group that totally stood it up. They took over a nonprofit to totally focus on this funding that will only go directly to support these Afghans to get out, and it also will go to support these Afghans to reestablish them, because we're going to bring them to America, and they're going to have needs. These families are going to be all on their own here. So, we're going to have to help them get set up, and we're going to have to help them and welcome them for a new life.
Does Operation Recovery know who they are and where they are? Do they have the ability to get this done? Losing the power of the United States government on the ground there has to make your job harder. I know you've been communicating with a family, as you mentioned in the last segment, but how hard is it going to be to get to them?
It's very difficult. I mean, prior to, at least we had a solid exit plan when the Karzai airport, and we had the support of the U.S. government, hit and miss. I mean, a lot of us were leveraging our own military contacts to get individuals into the gate and to get out. Department of State said that they were supporting, but frequently, we would be told, hey, just have and this was for American citizens. We were also trying to coordinate American citizens getting out, and frequently, over and over again, they would try and get through the Taliban checkpoints, and they would not be able to get to the gate, or they would get to the gate and they would be yelling, I'm an American citizen, and they could not get into the gate. So it has been messy. It has been problematic. It has been a bureaucratic nightmare. But we are still focused on trying to help people get out. We are just now moving to the next phase, which is developing new mechanisms. And of course, that gets much more complicated because now we're talking about moving people across the country with a new, obviously the Taliban is in power, and they are actively looking for individuals who supported the U.S. government.
So what is it that Americans, myself and others, really don't understand about Afghanistan and the Afghan people? Because you have a better understanding of this. It seems to me that when you look through that lens of TV, or you hear all that commentary, or you do, in many cases, you're watching a show like this, or listening to people like me on the radio, we don't have an understanding of Afghanistan or the Afghan people that you and others that have served know, that you get. What is it about Afghanistan and the Afghan people that you'd like to make sure people know?
It's a simple country, but it's also a beautiful country, this mountainous region. But at the end of the day, people are people. I've been all over the world. And at the end of the day, people want to raise their children in safety, and they want to be able to get out and have a job and be productive and live a good life with their family. And, I think a lot of people have this idea that Afghanistan has nothing but terrorists in it. And although, unfortunately, there are a lot of terrorists in there, the Taliban being a leading group of this, there's also equally a lot of amazing people. And a lot of these amazing people supported us. They worked hand in hand with us for 20 years, and we also gave them a taste of freedom. Before we went in, September 11, 2001, when the attacks occurred, the Taliban had an iron rule on that country, and women were not allowed to do anything. And over a 20-year period, there's all these things. There's a lot of people in America who are focused on women's rights. Well, guess what? In Afghanistan, there was all kinds of things that had blossomed while we were there. New schools for Afghan girls, schools of music, art, creativity, things that the Taliban does not allow. And now all that stuff, it does frustrate me to see that we have come full circle. We put back in power the exact same group that was in power when we went there, and now all these things are being shut down. So they're no different from you and I, and especially these ones who were willing to sacrifice and work alongside us. So, when you think about that, they are American. I mean, they worked alongside us, and they're as heroic as me or any of the warriors that worked on the battlefield. We depended on them. They provided us information. They saved us frequently. And I hope the American people will understand that. And you will ask yourself, what does it mean to be an American? Well, to be an American, I think it means to understand that it's bigger than us, that we take care of those who take care of us. So a lot of ways you can do that. OperationRecovery.org is one. Please lean, if you have the time, call up your political leaders and say, hey, we need to do something to take care of these people and get them out. The U.S. government needs to be involved. If we're not going to have boots on the ground, that's fine, but we need to be making bureaucratic and political action to actively help these people get out.
For people that might go to OperationRescue.org, which is certainly worth our time to do that and to donate to, some individuals are going to be frustrated because they think this is the role of the United States government, that this was a pledge of the Biden administration, that whatever expenses incurred when it comes to all of this is something that we collectively as taxpayers should be paying for. And so I guess it begs the question of, by now you've reached out and talked to people from both sides of the aisle. What response are you getting? Are they saying, look, the federal government needs, we've got over $3 trillion into Afghanistan already. We need to make sure that we fund getting people out of that country that we promised we'd help get out of that country.
And I believe the U.S. government needs to honor that promise. That is one of the mottos. You will see it at OperationRecovery.org, that honor the promise. I mean, hashtag honor the promise out there. Get that trending. Get people to understand that, these individuals are somebody we need to support. And political leaders on both sides of the aisles are expressing their support. They believe in it and they want to make this happen. I mean, we have to lean. At the end of the day, this is the power of the U.S. government and this current administration. Making this happen through the Department of State and making this happen through other government organizations who operate abroad.
Don't forget the Pineapple Express, what this means. Don't forget to buy his book. I mean, don't. Crush Adversity with the Leadership Techniques of America's Toughest Warriors. This is something that the book Overcome, as you can see, is something that I think that we owe it to him to take a serious look at and to read. Lieutenant Redmond, thanks for the good fight. I think people need to go to your website. They need to check that out and help any way they can. And again, I mean, I know I've said thank you a number of times in this interview, but it's with all sincerity. Thank you so much. And please, let's do everything we can collectively together to get those people out of Afghanistan.
Joel, my honor, and thank you to all of you. OperationRecovery.org, and yeah, get that trending. Get your political leaders. Get everybody. If you believe in that it means something to be an American and that we honor our word, let's do this. Let's honor the promise.
You bet. Jay, thank you so much. Thanks for coming on.
My honor. Thanks, Joel.
When we come back, we're going to get a chance to visit with Jay Young. Jay is an expert when it comes to oil and gas. So stick around. More coming your way here as we go down the road.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm coming to you with one of the most important commercials that I've ever done. All of you know what MyPillow and myself have gone through in the last 8 months in my efforts to bring the truth forward. Well, now you can help in a couple ways. First, get everyone you know to go to my new media platform, frankspeech.com. There you'll find all the footage from my cyber symposium and many other important broadcasts. Also, I am personally doing a new daily live show to get the truth out. It's at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. Secondly, I'm offering some of the best prices ever on MyPillow products, but they're only available on frankspeech.com. Go to frankspeech.com now and use the promo code on your screen or call the 1-800 number below to receive these exclusive MyPillow offers. Thank you and God bless.
Introducing the Cool Turtle, the ultra-comfortable mask enhancer that creates a protective, cool, and breathable space between your mask and your face. Simply slide under any mask or gaiter and immediately feel the refreshing pocket of air surrounding your face. Cool Turtle's ergonomically designed, soft, comfortable shell immediately reduces mask friction, allowing you to breathe and talk in a comfortable environment.
I can actually breathe. With the Cool Turtle, no more sweating.
It's like I don't even have a mask on.
Call now and get not one, not two, but 3 Cool Turtles for just $10. Order now and we'll send you 2 more Cool Turtles free. No fees, absolutely free. Plus, you can get a 10-pack of 4-ply face masks. Just pay a separate fee. This offer is not available on Amazon. Get the real Cool Turtle now.
Call 1-800-270-1219. That's 1-800-270-1219. Or visit getcoolturtle.com. Order now.
Seniors, are you aware that you could pay less for your car insurance?
Seniors can save money on their car insurance.
You might save a little, you might save a lot.
Maybe hundreds of dollars a year.
You might save 5% a year, maybe 10%, 15%, or even more.
That's a lot of money. So call right now and find out just how much money you might be able to save.
1-800-699-0761. 1-800-699-0761.
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after hours oasis of sanity.
How can these people not see that they're just clowns?
We help simplify and educate you on things going on in the legislature and around the country.
Asking the hard-hitting questions.
But also having Lee Stack and Sid and Marty Croft stuff, and we've talked about that sometimes. It's bad.
Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
In just a little bit, we hope to have Jay Young in the rig with us going down the road. Jay is a 4th-generation oil and gas professional. He's a leadership team. He has a leadership team with over 100 years of combined oil and gas exploration development experience, maintains an operating staff of industry specialists, including geoscientists, engineers, field operation, finance, accounting, and land professionals. In other words, it sounds like what we in North Dakota have seen since the oil boom took off again. What does that mean for us? Well, with Hurricane Ida, it means we could be looking at higher gas prices, higher price per barrel of oil, which isn't always bad for our area, as bad as what it is for the country as a whole. So we'll get a chance, hopefully, to talk to Jay about that. There is one other subject that I hope we get a chance to bring up a little bit later in the show, and that is what I'm seeing with all of these highlights of school board meetings, with all of these individuals that believe that they are now scientists that are attending school board meetings. If I were on a school board and the issue came up of whether or not those children, that faculty, everyone, should be required to wear masks, I would have some question marks behind that. I don't know how I'd vote. They'd have to bring a lot of things to me before I'd vote to force everyone to wear a mask. But I will tell you this, I wouldn't take any crap from those individuals who are rushing the stage and telling me how I absolutely have to vote with a violent voice and a fear of what they might do to you in their eyes. I mean, I'd have a real problem looking at those individuals and feeling as though they had a legitimate conversation to have when they're acting that way. So here's what I want you to ask yourself. I want you to ask yourself whether or not those individuals that stand at that podium and scream and holler and talk about how that school board is doing the wrong thing and about how all these policies are wrong and how every effort that's taken to try to slow down where we're at with this Delta variant with COVID, how those individuals are just radical and don't get it. Well, okay. Ask yourself this, would we even be having that conversation if they were vaccinated? If I were on the school board, I would have the right to look them in the eye and say, have you been vaccinated? Have you? Because if a higher percentage of yous have been vaccinated, then by God, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about masks in classrooms. Now, I realize at 12 and under, they under 12, I should say, they haven't developed a vaccine yet that they're ready to turn loose onto that age. So there's a vulnerability there. But there's a science. There's talk about how bad they are infected and how bad it is for them to contract COVID. The one thing we absolutely know now that anyone can carry COVID even post-vaccination. So to sit there and make the argument that, well, this person's going to carry or that person isn't going to carry it, I think that debate's over. The question is, the biggest question here is, what's going to happen to those people that are unvaccinated? You can grab one or few examples about, okay, this person was vaccinated, they ended up in the hospital, they ended up having to deal with COVID. That is such the minority. It's the far majority of what we're seeing. The people that we see in the ICU wards are individuals that haven't been vaccinated. By and large, haven't been vaccinated. Now think of Hurricane Ida. Think about the damage that does. And think about who's in that hospital bed as more and more people are found to be hurt, be busted up. The hurricane got after, and they're sitting there in a situation where they need help from doctors. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. And think about where we're at in states like Florida and Louisiana and Texas, where they're seeing their numbers just explode. Okay, so think about that as well. Those are things, if one of those individuals came to my school board meeting and I was on that school board and they sat there and told me absolutely what I had to do and they weren't willing to be vaccinated themselves, they'd have a really tough time with me listening to that argument. A really tough time with me sitting there saying, you're right. You're right. You're brighter than the scientists that go along with it. Now, I want to go back to Jay Young, oil and gas expert. I gave you, his bio. Let's bring him in and let's talk about what's going on in the oil and gas industry. Jay, good to have you coming down the road with us.
Hey, thank you for having me on. Thank you.
Jay, I want to talk about oil and gas. It's huge here in North Dakota, huge here in the upper Midwest. We get the benefits of higher gas prices because the oil that we have, which is tougher to grab a hold of, the higher the price per barrel, the more we utilize here, the more that we go ahead and pump. But in terms of Ida and in terms of what has gone on with the oil and gas industry now, where do you see this heading? How is this going to play out?
Yeah. Well, thank you for that question. I think it's great. And Ida is not going to be necessarily a long-term, effect on what the price of oil or gasoline is going to be. Now, I'm not saying long-term prices aren't going to go up, but anytime you have any type of a disruption in the oil business, you're going to see production. So we're using 20 million barrels of oil a day, and Ida was 2 million barrels. That's significant. We are producing 11 to 12 million, so 20% of our production is interrupted. That's going to cause a little challenge, but fortunately it wasn't for a long period of time. So we'll see a little bit of a blip, maybe 5-10 cents in gas prices now, but that has zero of what we're going to have in the future. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, I'm really afraid. I'm happy because I'm in the oil business and our clients will make a lot more money, but I think oil prices are going higher in the future.
And that was my point. That was my point about what we're seeing here, in the Bakken play, in the Williston Basin. What we're seeing in terms of where it goes in the future. Things that slow down. Well, you know that. When oil gets to $30 a barrel or less, basically we're in kind of a hold pattern here. And so the long term, or at least for now, are you predicting that price per barrel of oil is going to go higher and it's going to stay there for a while?
Yes, I really am. And the reason, and I say higher, I can see the $50 to $60 going to 60, 70, 70, 80. I can see it going. Now, if it goes above 100 for a long period of time, you may see the same thing that happened last year when, when Saudi Arabia and Russia dumped oil in our markets before the pandemic. What they did is they dumped a lot of oil in the markets because they wanted to put a lot of us out of business in the United States. But what I can see now in the future is you'll see a lot higher prices going because, man, the rig count's down 50%, from where it was before. We're not producing the oil, and we will not produce enough oil in the United States to fill our refineries. So we're going to be at the hands of our Saudi Arabia, Russia, OPEC people. They're going to call what the price of oil is going to be, and the higher for them, the better.
How did we get back to there? Because I remember an era when I was young when all of our, we used to have 70, 80% of the oil that we used come from outside our country. And then we slowly picked away at this to the point where we were producing the majority and a significant majority of the oil that was being used in this country. How did we get back to where Saudi Arabia and Russia can influence us to that point?
Yeah, because of the price of oil and because of what and this is one thing that Trump did, and Trump, for some reason, somehow, they started dumping a lot of oil in our markets at incredible prices, huge discounts. So they oversupplied us. And then the pandemic happened, and the demand went way down. And when the demand went way down and we're oversupplied, the price went down, went negative for a little bit. Then it started creeping back up. But you're right. I mean, because of the Bakken, because of the Permian Basin, the shell, drill baby drill type scenario, we did start producing a lot of more oil. And the United States took over as the #1 country to produce. And matter of fact, in Texas, if we did call ourselves a country, which some of us do, that it would have been like the 3rd or 4th largest producer, because we're producing, the Eagle Ford, the Permian. This shell is amazing, but it only works at higher prices. That's what Saudi Arabia and Russia know. It doesn't work $30, $40. It works at the higher price.
And that's the case here in North Dakota. If you look at that Williston Basin, there's a bottom there. They're going to pump because they basically have to pump, but they're not going to make money, and they're certainly going to slow down. When you say Texas way ahead. Get it, understand it. But if you would have told us back in the early 2000s that, North Dakota was going to become the 2nd largest oil producing state, we didn't see that coming.
Right.
Fracking is what made all the difference in the world. We didn't see that coming, and there's an expense that goes along with it, and so it goes back also. And the one thing we haven't discussed is need. I like my Ford F-150 pickup. I like it. I don't want it to be electric. I'm not going to lie to you about that. I want to burn what you're making, and I want to drive that looking over your left shoulder to a Minnesota Vikings game on Halloween where we beat the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, that's what I want my pickup to do. And so 10 years from now, is that what I'm going to do? Are we, with such an important industry here in the upper Midwest and in Texas, are we going to stay as important as what we are to this country now?
Yeah, that's a great question, Joel. I appreciate that. I mean, it's a great thought is what's going to happen 5 years, 10 years down the road? I mean, Biden can come in and, take permits and, and federal lands and pipelines and all these things. But what's going to happen 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the road? And I believe we're going to go greener, but we're not going to go green because, 60% of a barrel of oil is for non-transportation type activities. 25-30% is for cars and trucks and things of that nature. But your other uses of oil are going to be necessary. And as the population continues to increase, you're still going to have that need for oil. And then we go greener, not green, but we'll go greener. Well, we're going to knock some of that off, but we're still seeing 10, 15 years is going to be peak demand where we need, and this is good for your listeners to Google how much is our supply, how much do we need in a barrel of oil a day? It's 20 million barrels plus. That's going to increase. We need 20 million barrels. We're producing 11, maybe 12. So where does that go? Well, that's going to go up a little bit, but unless we double our rig count, we're not going to be anywhere close to satisfying our need and for the use of cheaper oil. It's going to be higher. And that's good for us oil and gas guys and our funds and our investors, but it's not going to be good for you at the gas pump.
JD,
but you're not worried about that because you're driving your 150.
Yeah, exactly. It's red, by the way, if you see me coming to the game on Halloween. Jay, do you think people realize what oil is used for? I know they go to the gas pump. I get that, and I understand all of that. But you're looking at an old rural water manager. Sure, I served in the state Senate and have been involved and active in public policy for a long time. But when I managed the rural water system, we went, and this is PVC pipe, which means you understand it, but not everybody. But we took and we went from 550 miles of pipe to 2,800 miles of pipe. That was with PVC. That was with oil. I mean, oil was used to produce that. Do you think people understand that?
No, I don't. I think all they see is oil and oil spills and emissions. The natural gas flaring up in the air, and they see all the dirty ways about it. Colorado is a big, huge. They don't want any oil and gas produced in their state, but they do drive their vehicles, and the plastics. I mean, how much oil is needed to build a Tesla? Well, a lot, because of all the automobile parts and everything else that goes in. There's still a lot of there's a great video out, and anybody that signs up for our newsletter today, I'll send you a video of what's needed in an apartment. Like what would your apartment be like without oil? That's a great summary, and it just starts taking away different items.
Yeah.
Like my AirPod case or all these different things around that you have that there's a little bit of oil in each one of them. Like I said, 60%.
Tell us which person doesn't have a cell phone and the plastic that's used for that. Jay, promise me you'll come on again. I need to continue this conversation, okay?
I love it, Joel. Thank you very much for having me on. And are you definitely coming to the Cowboy game on Thanksgiving?
You bet. I'm going, and we can bet about that off air, okay?
Awesome. That's great.
You're
That's
looking
great.
at a Viking season ticket holder, so I'll be there. I'll be there with my buddies. So appreciate it. When we
Thank you
come
very
back,
much.
you got some comments for you as we head on down the road.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. This drug remains approved by the FDA. If you or a loved one regularly took Zantac and were later diagnosed with cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Potential cancers include bladder cancer, colon cancer, kidney cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting with your doctor. Discontinuing a prescribed medication without your doctor's advice can result in injury or death.
Call 1-800-230-9210.
Seniors, are you aware that you could pay less for your car insurance?
Seniors can save money on their car insurance.
You might save a little, you might save a lot.
Maybe hundreds of dollars a year.
You might save 5% a year, maybe 10%, 15%, or even more.
That's a lot of money.
So call right now and find out just how much money you might be able to save.
1-800-699-0761. 1-800-699-0761.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more.
Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
1-800-219-1467.
At Beck Communications, we've been planning for your future. Over the past decade, we've placed nearly 200,000 miles of dedicated fiber optics in the ground, enough fiber optic strands to circle the world 8 times. Taking no shortcuts, we connected every home and business in our service area with dedicated fiber optics. It's your personal, unrestricted, unthrottled connection to the world. Best of all, this dedicated fiber means you do not share your connection. We call this intimate dedicated connection Beck Fiber.
You know, the guests that we're able to bring on to Down the Road are people from all over the countryside. We had Lieutenant Jason J. Redman on today. And if you want to see a podcast, if you want to tell folks about it and you get a chance to listen to him speak today, you know, go there. Go to Beck TV, find that podcast, and make sure you share it. Also, Jay Young. Now, a man in the oil industry. Think about how the economics of oil affect what we do, right down to the public schools that we're educating our children in right now. Right now. Think about what percentage the state is paying of your property taxes or of education that reduce your property taxes of where they'd have to be. When I was in the state legislature, folks, North Dakota paid about 37 to 38 cents on the dollar of K-12 education. The last time I looked, it's above 70%. So you can argue about what your property taxes are all you want, but it isn't because of K-12 education. Oil industry, had a huge, major role in what happened in North Dakota in terms of reducing the need for property tax. That's important. That's really important because that's this silent little tax that can come up and just bite you in the butt. Now, okay, Jay Redmond, I want to go back to this. I want to make sure that when you look at this, you go to operationrecovery.org. Now, what he's all about in the interview we had with him today wasn't about whether you're a D or an R. What he was focusing on is the mission of getting every American you can out of Afghanistan, getting every ally that we had that wants out of Afghanistan out of Afghanistan. And so one of the things he brought up is the money to do it. You know, private individuals, private industry. I struggle with that, not because of the mission. I think hats off to him. It's one that I should go to and will later on and donate a couple bucks to, because what he's doing is that important. What his group is doing is that important, but it's frustrating for me. You know, we've got an administration right now that said they would get everyone out of Afghanistan that wanted out. And granted, there's a window here, there's time here, but every troop is out of Afghanistan now. And so how you accomplish that should be done with taxpayer dollars. It should be. We, the people of the United States of America, made a pledge to those individuals. Now, why they're not out yet, those are individual stories. Whether or not those are individuals and people that decided they wanted to stick around and make more money, I don't know. Whether or not those are individuals that chose in the beginning not to get where they had to get in order to get out, I don't know. I just know this, that we as a nation promised something, and we as a nation should pay for that something. So thank God for the Redmonds of the world. Thank God for him for doing what he's doing to make sure this country keeps our word. When we come back, some closing comments for you right here as we finish our trip down the road.
Do you worry about going to the dentist? After all, a visit to the dentist can easily cost $2,000 or more. Well, relax. The Carefree Dental Card is now available in your area. Call now and we'll send your actual card at no cost today. With the Carefree Dental Card, you go to the dentist whenever you need and you instantly pay a lot less. Activate your card and you can start using it immediately. From exams and cleanings to more expensive procedures like crowns, dentures, even braces, they're all included with the Carefree Dental Card. Say you go to the dentist today without any card and your bill is, well, ouch. Wait a minute, let's try that again. You go to the dentist today and show your Carefree Dental Card, you save $525. The Carefree Dental Card is just $15.95 a month, so call now and make going to the dentist carefree.
Call 1-800-416-5739 to receive your Carefree Dental Card information kit. 1-800-416-5739. Call now.
I can't say enough good things about these nano hearing aids.
Real people talking about nano hearing aids.
The hearing quality is great.
Until now, hearing aids used to be too expensive for the average person. Until nano. Call now and you'll get your nano hearing aids for only $297. You'll save $100. When you buy one hearing aid, Nano will give you a second hearing aid free. Call right now.
1-800-213-3815.
Spas, etc.
You've come to know and trust us for over 18 years with the largest selection and showroom in Western North Dakota for our beautiful Sundance spas. Plus, you could pick out your next home experience with our selection of pool tables, shuffleboards, and fun accessories.
Spas, etc. Your relaxation destination on Main and Bismarck.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
know, are we as a country taking mental health more serious? Are we? And how did we get there? Nike closed its offices for a week to give employees a mental health break. I can tell you this, at where I go to work each and every day, there are tensions. There are tensions probably just like in your office. Has COVID changed that? Have people is their anxiety so large right now that their fuse is about that short when they get after each other? Or is it just the nature of our country today with the way our public policy is developed, the way we've learned to treat each other? I think this happened through our politics. I do. I think that some of the stress we're all feeling, this judging people by their first glance, this, okay, they've got that bumper sticker, that person's a complete jerk right away, rather than meeting them, rather than talking to them. I think that a lot of that started through our politics. And it started, you're going to say right now, well, here he goes off on Donald Trump. It started before that. It started before that. I would argue that it started in an accelerated way when this country elected a black president. There's a lot of people that don't like the fact that we elected a black president, and they never accepted it. And it brought out the worst in them. And then it carried through when somebody took to Twitter and somebody decided to mock that president every chance he could because he wanted to run for president, and it worked. It worked using social media to do just that. So here we sit today. We've got a competitor and a winner of last year's U.S. Open, and she decided not to compete in the Olympics because of the strain she had on her life mentally. We've got Nike, one of the world's largest employers, saying take a week off. Come back with a better attitude. We've got your workplace, where some of that might be happening as well. It's a big enough topic for another day here as we go down the road. So until then, good riding with you, folks.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.